Hey all, Dr. Paul Borosky here, founder of Organized Plan Growth Strategy as well as business consultant. So for this video, what I'd like to do is to share with y'all a sample construction company operations plan. Now this operations plan is a finished product, but what I normally would do is I would work with a small business owner in the construction industry. We would develop the operations plan based on their vision of their company. And keep in mind, just because we have an operations plan, that is not the end-all be-all. The more importantly is the process of working with a professional consultant to examine each segment of your business and then documenting it. So once you have the finished document, it can be used in operations to transform your current operations into what you envision your business to look like from the operations perspective. That's a mouthful. All right, let's go ahead and first I'm going to go ahead and just talk to y'all real quick about a couple of facts about operations plans, tell you some benefits of it, and then after that we'll dive into the sample. All right, let's get started. Importance of an operations plan. Let's be honest, what's the point of me showing y'all a sample operations plan if y'all just don't buy into the fact that having an operations plan is not just important, it's absolutely critical for the success and growth of a company, especially in the construction industry. All right, so fact number one, the root cause of most reoccurring problems in a construction business, or any business for that matter, is that there is no operations plan documented. Fact number two, 99% of small businesses don't have an operations plan. Now, there's a few benefits that I want to also go over about having an operations plan, but the first one is the most important one. Your operations plan is the ultimate vision of how you want your business to operate. How are you supposed to make sure that your operations is doing what you want it to do if you don't have something to compare it to? Also, having an operations plan is going to help you stay organized. It's going to reduce inconsistencies. You can share it with any stakeholder you want, and it's going to force evaluation of each section of your business. When you do an operations plan, you got to look at each individual section and say, hey, how do I want it to look? So, that's a huge benefit. And then finally, it's a benchmark. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive right into the sample. All right, and now here is the start of the show, and this is just a sample operating plan that I came up with. And now, of course, this is a fictitious company, Dr. Paul's Construction Company. However, the content, the structure, and the way that I present it is the same that I would do with a construction company business client, helping them design their operation plan. All right, so it's going to lead off with a title page. On the title page, I'll have the company's name, and it doesn't need to look snazzy. It just needs to be there. This is for internal use only. So it'll just say the title of a company right here, and then it'll say operating plan underneath. Under that, it's going to be the table of contents. It's going to help you just find the location you want to go to. Now, also at this point right here, keep in mind for each one of these sections, the business location, operational workflow, job description, key performance indicators. Any one of these headings right here can be broken out into a separate plan. We don't want to overburden the operations plan. We want to keep it succinct, no more than, typically about 10 to 15 pages. And if it starts going above that, then we need to start just summarizing some of these sections and creating some other plans. All right. First section is going to be the executive summary. When I structure my executive summary for the construction company industry, it's always going to be who we are. Who are we as a construction company? We want to have that vision. Also, who we are, we want to keep that segment, and we want to use that across all of our different business plans, our operating plan, our marketing plan, our business plan, our whatever plans that we develop. We want to have that at the beginning to always remind our stakeholders and remind us who we are. Next, what we're going to do is, I'm going to do it for the executive summary, is make sure you summarize what you do, why you do it, and how you know it's working. So what you do is going to be services offered. Why you do this? Well, who are you servicing? Why are you in business? What is your mission? We want to keep that in mind and put it right here. And know how it's, whether it's working or not, is going to be your key performance indicators. The next section is going to be a business overview. Again, it's always going to be the same. Who we are is always going to be the same. It's never going to change, and it's going to be the same in the business overview, in the executive summary, as well as throughout all of the other business plans, all of the other plans. What we do, we're going to now start breaking down into our core services we're going to offer. Why we do it. Again, we want to remind ourselves, why are we providing these services? What is the point? The next section is going to be the business location. Where are we providing services for our construction company? Do we have a commercial office? Are we doing it from a home office? Or are we going to be working from different sites across wherever we're servicing our customers? So wherever that is, we want to document it here. The next section is going to be the workflow. The workflow is going to come in, it's going to start on initial customer contact. So once that phone rings or once you get that email, what is the process to servicing the customer? We want that process to be systematic and consistent throughout for every customer. And when you do that, then you can optimize it and you can make sure your customers are getting better and better service. If you are not structuring your service to your customers in your workflow, then how are you supposed to know that you're giving them the best service possible? You have to be able to document what the customer sees once they initially make contact, all the way to the end where the product or the service is provided, and for the construction company, the finishing of the job. The next section is going to be job descriptions. Now here we want to go ahead and give an overview of the various jobs that are going to be within our organization. For example, the owner, general contractor, project manager, estimator, field service, field supervisor, and so on. Now we don't want to get too deep into the job descriptions. If we need to go ahead and really get down into it and start really breaking it down, what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, we're going to take this section and we're going to break it out into a different manual. And again, we're going to leave this as a summary. Next section is going to be key performance indicators. This is going to be, how do we know we're doing a good job? For example, project completion time. And then what we'll do is we'll define it. What is the target for this section? And then why is it a key performance indicator? So we'll use that structure for each key performance indicator. The next section is going to be the organizational chart. Love my organizational charts. People love visual pictures. You can't get any more visual than this. Also, this tells you what job positions are in your company, as well as who reports to who. So it's just a huge benefit to include in your operations plan. The next section is going to be operational risk and contingency strategies. Here is when you are going to go ahead and define what are some of the risks in the construction industry that we may be facing in the next week, next month, or next year, and then how are we going to respond to those potential risks. Now this, again, we just want to list the top 3 or 4 risks that we're going to face, but this is an excellent foundation for strategic planning. When you start viewing all of the potential risks that you have out there and you come up with contingency strategies, well, when they happen or if they happen, you are now prepared to respond in a professional and strategic manner. And also, it's going to be, you're already going to be prepared. You're not in reaction when the issue comes up. You are now being, you're ready to go. You've got the strategy all documented. All right, so that should wrap that up. All right, so hopefully this operations plan was helpful. And if y'all are interested in some help with developing this operations plan and going through the process of it, again, Dr. Paul Borosky here. Feel free to reach out. Let's go ahead and wrap it up and sum it up. Thanks. And hopefully you'll find this information helpful. Again, Dr. Paul Borosky here, owner of Quality Business Plan. And my main service that I provide is helping small business owners implement my organized plan growth strategy. I also provide business plan writing and financial projection models. I do organizational management, fractional COO, CFO services, and this in general business consulting. If you need some service, feel free to reach out. Thanks.